I'm talking about the type of supernatural abundance that will fill the entire valley of ditches. Fill it with a hailstorm of rain. Elijah knew that, and he had faith. So like Elijah, if we know that our God will provide abundance, why aren't we digging our ditches to prepare for his grace and his abundance? This is something that I struggle with when I initially emerged into the publishing industry. I didn't know much about publishing, but I knew I loved to write. I knew that all I wanted to do was write. I knew that I would sleep, eat, and breathe writing. I knew I wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to tell my story. I wanted to tell the stories of others. I wanted to tell stories that were unheard of or unspoke of. I knew what I wanted to do. And I wanted to do that at any cost. So, because of my desperation of wanting to do that at any cost, I thought more so about what I wanted to do in opposed to what I needed to do. And I didn't quite understand in the beginning that I needed to prepare myself effectively, efficiently. I needed to do more research. It was so much that I needed to do, and I hadn't prepared myself. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared for the snakes that were out there. I wasn't prepared for the con artists that were out there. I just wanted to write. I just wanted my story to be told. And had I properly prepared myself for what was to come, I wouldn't have endured a lot of things. Now, a lot of the things that I did endure, I wouldn't change it for the world. And that's simply because learning is earning. And I needed to learn that experience in order to earn that knowledge. I needed that. So for me, was I upset that a lot of things took place and and I was taken advantage of by a lot of individuals in the beginning? Absolutely, I was upset. However, it all comes down to accountability, and I needed to hold myself accountable for simply not being prepared for the things that were to come. I should have very well been prepared for the snakes in the grass. I should have very well been prepared for the publishers who come after you and want your story, but no royalty advances. I should have been prepared for the publishers who reach out to you and say, I don't believe in a royalty check. You don't believe in a royalty check because you don't have the funds to fund a royalty check. So of course you wouldn't believe in it. I wouldn't believe in it either if I didn't have the funds. So those were hurdles that I needed to overcome, and I'm so glad that I've overcome those things. I'm so glad that I see things much more clearer now than I did 3 years ago or 4 years ago. I see things so much more clearer, and it's particularly because I prepare myself for the things that I'm praying for. I started to ask God for understanding. He started to instill more understanding in me than I could handle at the time. I started to ask God for direction. He started to pour more direction and point me into more directions than I could even think was even possible. Unimaginable directions. And it was happening at lightning speed. And a lot of these things, it goes back. A lot of these things and changes that took place, it was because I removed a lot of things and people from my life. And the minute that I removed those things and people from my life was the very minute that he started to provide me with the things that I needed or the things that I visualized. So we definitely have to prepare for the things that we're seeking. Because I wasn't prepared. But that doesn't mean that you don't have to be prepared. Am I prepared today? Absolutely. Experience is the best teacher. You learn. You learn. Because if you're not learning, you're not growing. And if you're not growing, you're not advancing. And if you're not advancing, there's no point. So do I see my growth? Absolutely. I'd be a fool not to see my growth. I'd be a fool not to prepare. You know? Whatever it is that you're visualizing, that you want, that you need, start planning for it. Start preparing for it right now. If your goal is to become an entrepreneur, start digging your ditch before your plan even goes into motion. Okay, you want to become an entrepreneur, but you don't necessarily have the working capital or the funds to start it. That doesn't mean that you can't start digging those ditches. Go get yourself a business bank account. Apply for an EIN number, a federal tax ID number. Apply for a DUNS number. No, you don't have the funding to start your business, yet you have the resources needed to kickstart your desires. The things that I mentioned above, those are free. So there's no need why you can't dig that ditch early. It's free. What's your excuse? You should have no excuse. If you're working on a dead-end job and you know there's no outlet, then you need to aim bigger. How do you do that? Go out and purchase yourselves a 6-figure wardrobe on a cheap champagne budget. There's nothing wrong with that. Start sporting that new wardrobe on the job that you're currently at. Start dressing for the position and the success that you're preparing for. Start dressing how you want to be addressed. You want to be addressed as a CEO? Guess what? Honey, you better start working it. You better work. Start digging those ditches prematurely, because God will not place more on your heart than your heart can endure. He will not. God can grace you with prosperity 100-fold, but it's up to you as the receiver to prepare in whatever way necessary in order to receive that abundance. If you know in your heart that God will grace you with prosperity and abundance in which you've been praying for, then you need to be busy digging a mount of ditches in order to hold all the favor in which he's going to rain down upon you. You need to start digging. You need to grab your shovel and you need to start digging right here, right now. My God. Did I just take y'all to church? Or did I just take y'all to church? Did I just do it to you? I'm sorry. I just get so carried away when I think about how unprepared we are when it comes to the things that we're asking for and not the things that have inadvertently been placed into our lives. These are not things that we don't want to be rained upon us. These are things that we're wishing for. We're wishing upon the stars, gazing upon the stars, begging upon the stars for these things to happen. But we're not preparing ourselves for them. We simply have to start to prepare for things that we hopelessly and effortlessly ask for. We have to. So if you haven't started preparing, start today. Prepare accordingly. This all goes back to effective goal setting. We definitely have to have goal setting in place in order to move forward with anything that we aspire. We have to. Not to mention, as I've mentioned before, we have a goal setting workbook available for purchase. The digital version is $9.99. The physical version is $14.99. It's available at connectmagazine.com. That's KONECT magazine.com. So there's absolutely no reason why you're unable to jumpstart on digging your ditch. If you want to receive your abundance, then you need to start digging those ditches prematurely. We do everything else prematurely. Why can't we start digging ditches for ourselves, for our prosperity prematurely? There's no reason. I think I've taken you guys to the pulpit and back today. So there you have it, Conquerlistas. See, I got it again. I'm on a roll. I'm Tiana Nicole, and class is now adjourned. I'm sorry. I get too excited when I think about all the possibilities that are out there. And I start to get kind of tongue twisted. But I'm working on that. So as I mentioned, class is now adjourned. Until next week, remember to never give up, because you just simply never know who you're letting down. Good night.